Wellness Wednesday. I want you guys to go look in your refrigerator. Look at all those bags, labels, store brands, and name brands. It feels like a shelf full of competing choices. But here's what most people don't know. A large share of those supposedly different products can roll off the same processing lines. And when one processing system has a problem, that problem doesn't stay in one neighborhood. It can travel across brands, restaurants, grocery stores, and state lines before anybody realizes what happened. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Today, we need to discuss an uncomfortable but necessary question. How does human waste get onto our food? The immediate answer is contaminated water. Cyclospora is a microscopic parasite that infects people and is shed or spread through human feces. Yeah, poop. It can contaminate fruits and vegetables when water containing human sewage is used for irrigation, washing, or processing. Unlike some infections, Cyclospora generally does not spread directly from one person to another because the parasite needs time to be outside the body to become infectious. So that means when it appears in food, investigators look for contamination somewhere in the growing, harvesting, washing, or even processing system. Federal officials are currently investigating a massive Cyclospora outbreak linked through epidemiological evidence and supply chain, traced back to shredded iceberg lettuce grown in central Mexico and supplied by, of course, Taylor Farms of Mexico. As of August 5th, 2026, the FDA reported 6,358 confirmed illnesses across 15 states, at least 278 hospitalizations, and 2 deaths in Michigan. Both people who had died had significant underlying health conditions that may have been made worsened by cyclosporiasis and dehydration. Illnesses began as early as June 22nd and continued through July 31st. Officials have warned that the real number may be higher because some people recover without being tested, and confirming whether a case belongs to an outbreak can take up to 6 weeks. Now, the investigation originally focused on people who had eaten at Taco Bell. In one early group of 190 patients, 90% reported eating iceberg lettuce. The FDA's traceback investigation found that lettuce served at affected Taco Bell locations converged on one supplier, Taylor Farms of Mexico. Taylor Farms voluntarily recalled iceberg lettuce from central Mexico on July 17th. Taco Bell reported that it stopped using lettuce from that supplier on the very same day. The recall included market-side iceberg salad and shredded lettuce sold at certain Walmart stores with best if used by dates from July 18th through August 3rd. Recalled food service products were distributed in 28 states, while confirmed outbreak cases involving exposure to Taco Bell or recalled lettuce have been identified in 15 states. Now, let's discuss Taylor Farms. The company is North America's largest producer of fresh-cut fruits and vegetables. Recent reporting describes it as an approximately $7 billion business with about 24,000 employees, 22 production facilities across North America, and an estimated 265 million servings of fresh produce supplied every week. The company has also estimated that its products provide salad to approximately 1 in every 3 Americans. So when we see 10 different labels, we may not be looking at 10 completely independent food systems. That concentration is a public health concern. Why? Well, because decades ago, hundreds of smaller regional processors meant that hygiene failure might sicken people in one area and could potentially be traced more quickly. Today, one major supplier can provide ingredients to multiple retailers, restaurant chains, food service companies, and private label brands. A single contamination, well, that one event can become a multi-state outbreak before consumers even know where to look. CNN examined the company's history and reported that over more than a decade, health officials had linked Taylor Farms products or operations to at least 5 Cyclospora or E. coli outbreaks. CNN also documented a recurring conflict between epidemiological evidence and companies' response. Taylor Farms has emphasized that product testing did not confirm contamination, questioned whether its products were responsible in certain outbreaks, and pointed to the billions of safe servings it produces. Now, that company's response needs to be included because testing during food outbreak, well, it's complicated. By the time investigators identify a pattern, the short-lived produce involved may already have been eaten, discarded, or past its expiration date. In the current outbreak, an initial Cyclospora positive lettuce sample was later reclassified by the FDA as false positive. As of the FDA's update, no recalled product sample had produced a confirmed positive Cyclospora result. However, the FDA said this did not change the extensive patient interview evidence and traceback information converging on the shredded lettuce provided by Taylor Farms and growers in central Mexico. And this is not the first time Cyclospora has been connected to this operation. In 2013, American health officials traced an outbreak affecting Iowa and Nebraska to salad mix produced at the very same Taylor Farms, Mexico facility. Now, during its environmental assessment, the FDA found that salad ingredients were being washed in recycled wash water, a practice the agency said could create opportunities for what? Cross-contamination and spread of Cyclospora. Of course, investigators also questioned the sanitary design of some employee hand washing facilities and recommended that the operation reevaluate its procedures. So that does not prove that the same condition caused the 2026 outbreak, but it establishes an important history that should not be ignored. Taylor Farms says it has invested approximately $200 million in food safety measures and maintains that it has cooperated with regulators and taken corrective action when warranted. CNN interviewed former FDA Deputy Commissioner who said the size of this outbreak should be an alarm bell for both the food industry and government regulators. But blaming one company alone would let the larger system escape examination. The United States now imports approximately 60% of the fresh fruit and 38% of fresh vegetables available to American consumers. Most people assume that imported food is physically inspected before reaching the grocery store. And unfortunately, that is not what happens. And now we arrive at numbers every American needs to hear. The FDA physically examines only about 1% of imported food shipments. Yeah. In 2025, the agency conducted fewer than 1,000 food safety inspections at foreign facilities, even though approximately 47,000 foreign manufacturers were responsible for 90% of the non-meat food shipments entering the United States. CBS News found that only 4.5% of those manufacturers had been inspected since 2023. Taylor Farms of Mexico, the operation federal investigators have linked to the current lettuce outbreak through patient interviews and supply chain traceback, had not been inspected. Are you ready? Inspected by the FDA in 7 years. Before that 2019 inspection, another 6 years had passed since the FDA visited the facility following the 2013 Cyclospora outbreak. In 2024, the FDA had only 20 inspectors dedicated to foreign food providers. 20 inspectors responsible for helping oversee a global food supply system feeding hundreds of millions of Americans. So, no, every imported bag of lettuce is not being opened, sampled, and tested at the border. Most shipments are screened electronically using records, risk scores, automated systems, and the company's history. Companies and importers carry much of the responsibility for verifying the safety of their own foreign suppliers. So that is not the same thing as independent, boots on the ground inspection. The Food Safety Modernization Act created the Foreign Supplier Verification Program, commonly called FSVP. It requires American importers to verify that their foreign suppliers provide food safety protections comparable to the United States requirements. However, much of that verification depends on company records, hazard analysis, supplier evaluations, paperwork, and private audits. Economists sometimes call the exploitation of differences between regulatory systems and regulatory arbitrage. A company may lower costs by sourcing or processing products in places where water infrastructure, sanitation enforcement, inspections, or labor protections are different. Now, that doesn't mean all imported produce is unsafe, and it doesn't mean every foreign farm is poorly operated. It means that when food is sourced from another country, the American company placing it into our food supply must be held responsible for knowing exactly how it was grown, washed, processed, and transported. We need stronger prevention, not another round of surprise followed by apologies. First, require lot-level electronic traceability so investigators can identify the exact farm, processor, shipment, and customer quickly. The FDA already created an enhanced food traceability rule, but our Congress has directed the agency not to enforce it before July 2028. Yeah, you heard me. The very people who are supposed to be looking out for us. Second, put the country of origin and the processing facility on the front package in letters ordinary people can actually read. Third, increase physical inspections and microbial sampling of high-risk imported produce. Fourth, strengthen independent oversight of foreign suppliers instead of relying too heavily on paperwork and private audits. Fifth, require major processors to disclose which retail and restaurant brands they supply during a recall so consumers are not left staring at 20 labels and guessing. Now, what should you do? If you have recalled lettuce, throw it away. Don't eat it, and don't assume rinsing will remove the parasite. Clean and sanitize your refrigerator shelves, containers, cutting boards, and other surfaces the lettuce touched. Cyclospora can cause frequent watery diarrhea, loss of appetite, weight loss, stomach cramps, bloating, gas, nausea, fatigue, vomiting, body aches, headaches, and fever. Symptoms may appear about a week or more after exposure, may seem to disappear and then suddenly return. Without treatment, the illness can last weeks or longer. Older adults, people with weakened immune systems, and people with other serious medical conditions, well, you guys should take these symptoms especially seriously. If you become ill, contact your healthcare provider and specifically mention Cyclospora and any recent consumption of shredded iceberg lettuce or jalapeno peppers. A special stool test may be necessary because Cyclospora is not always included in routine testing. So please send this information to a parent, spouse, neighbor, or anyone who eats bagged salad. This is not about making people afraid of vegetables. It's about demanding a food system in which convenience does not hide out accountability. Different labels do not create an illusion of independence. And families don't have to become detectives to determine who handled their food. Panic will not protect us, you guys. Transparency, traceability, enforcement, and accurate information just might. I'm Moné Swann, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Have a happy hump day, everyone. I love you, and we will keep continuing to bring you the news that affects your body, your health, your life, your finances. And we love you. Have a great day.
Wellness Wednesday.